since last 2-3 years, things have not been perfect in Cricket Canada.
Was Jimmy shocked?
I was.
The people governing the game have no respect for the game at all. This is shameful.
Cricket was not a priority.
Are you trying to tell me nothing happened?
No, I'm not saying that nothing happened.
So are you saying something happened?
So over all these experienced campaigners, why Dilpreet Bajwa?
There was a call made by how he was made the captain and all that. That was totally surprised to see Dilpreet even bowling in the power play. It was a systematical issue. CBC could only do some part of it in 45-minute episode. Maybe they needed a web series. 2-3 years of damage cannot be shown properly in a 45-minute episode.
Players at $3,000 a month.
Players should be given more. Players had no contracts, but the CEO was getting his salary. But he was making hefty enough money.
I'm so proud of this kid, 19-year-old Yuvraj Samra. I would say he's Canadian version of Bhav Suryavanshi.
He does not have a B plan.
Biggest league in North America drastically raised the expenses. But there are a lot of other add-on expenses which no one wants to talk about. Does the ball cost $45? Does the board pay $45 for the board? In the studios of Soul Talk with Bhav, let's welcome
Enough is enough.
You've heard the whistleblower in the previous episode. The man who watched it from the outside for years. The man who screamed into the void until the entire country listened. That was part one. Today is part two. The guest today, he did not see it from outside because he was inside. Inside the plane going to the World Cup, inside the team hotel, and inside that same Cricket Canada's dugout at the ground. He even went with Captain Dilpreet Bajwa to Mumbai for the captain's meet. He saw the World Cup close. Closer than anyone who has publicly spoken about it. His journey with cricket in Canada came from ground up. From tennis ball cricket to one of the biggest clubs in the country. From handling Cricket Canada's social media from last 5 years to sitting with me at Soul Talk today, having the guts to talk about what he saw. My question to him, from all the fans, is very simple. You were there. You saw everything. What happened? Jimmy Sharma, welcome to Soul Talk with Bhav.
Thank you.
Jimmy, 5 years with Cricket Canada, handling marketing and operations, and now traveling with the team. We saw the headlines. You lived them. We are shocked. Were you?
I mean, most of the things that have been out there, it's, like from ICC anti-corruption, it's like mostly, it's regular protocol. But the way it has been showed, like on public media, I'm shocked more about that, how it has been shown and how the reaction has been out there.
Jimmy, I understand that you are still associated with Cricket Canada, and I am honestly not surprised to see you playing smart, defensive, and trying to play it down. But let me tell you, I have a lot of bouncers coming your way, and adjust your helmet accordingly. Because you cannot sit here, play down, and just say this was a regular protocol. Are you trying to tell me nothing happened?
No, I'm not saying that nothing happened.
So are you saying something happened?
If anti-corruption has pulled out somebody, something might have happened. But as I said, it's very regular protocol that there were 20 teams playing. There could be a possibility that 20 teams were questioned, but no other team was having a global broadcaster like a nationwide broadcaster like CBC following the team. So I would say because of that, Canada came into limelight.
So Canada came to limelight because of the broadcaster. Agreed. All the 20 teams were questioned by anti-corruption. Possible. But Jimmy, my memory is not very sharp. Can you please tell me, out of the other 19 teams, how many teams changed their captain just 3 weeks before the World Cup? It doesn't make any logical cricketing sense to me. Does it to you?
See, that did not happen, but as we speak, again, as you said, I'm not going to defend anybody. Yes, I'm working with Cricket Canada, but morally and ethically, everybody knows my stand on the people I've worked with in Cricket Canada, the past board, the new board, the people involved. Maybe we can talk more, as we go.
No. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it right now because people want to know. Because you were there in between both the sides, the management sides and the player side. Now, when people sitting thousands of miles away made a decision to make an inexperienced player as the new captain just before the World Cup, and mind you, in presence of old, deserving players who have done nothing wrong. What happened? How was the mood in the camp? How did the players take it?
See, the mood in the camp, if I start with that,
Please be honest.
yeah, I'm going to be honest, don't worry. Uh, there were talks, and there were some white noise from outside, from inside, everybody. But again, coming from, the decision makers who made that call are no longer part of Cricket Canada now. Unfortunately, before the CBC documentary came, they were removed, and STM was called off by the uh, special request of Supreme Court of British Columbia. And those guys were the ones who took this decision. And talking about Dilpreet Bajwa, who was made the captain 3 weeks before the World Cup, I would say, whatever happened uh, in the match that was shown, but he has a good track record on club cricket, on tournaments, a proven track record in GT20, Canada Super 60, and even I would say in BC Bash and all the big tournaments, Alberta Champions Open. He has a good track record as a winning captain. So, if that was part of the reason when he was appointed as a captain, I take that. But what happened next? I don't know.
Jimmy, I was there at the Big Bash. I was there at some other major tournaments. What did Nicholas Curtin do wrong? Why couldn't we give Navneet Dhaliwal a nice farewell to make him the captain? He has all the experience in the world. And for that matter, Saad bin Zafar had been amazing in whatever games he has captained. So over all these experienced campaigners, why Dilpreet Bajwa?
See, again, what did Dylan Hale again did, right? There were senior players in the team. What did Harsh Thakkar did, right?
Exactly.
So there were senior players in the team. Again, there was a call made by the previous board. I'm an employee of Cricket Canada. I don't sit on those meetings. I don't take those calls. I was just part of the management who was informed that Dilpreet Bajwa is going to be the captain. So again, I can just tell you there was some white noise inside the dugout, and within the team, outside public, everybody was shocked to see that. But again, as I said, that was a call that was made by the previous board, not the current board.
Was Jimmy shocked?
I was. I was.
Was that the right call according to Jimmy?
I was at the World Cup. If I would have done that, you know that I also run a club. If I would have done that,
Harsh Thakkar is a part of your club.
Harsh
You didn't
is-
vouch for him.
no, they didn't ask me. They would have asked me. I could have gone with Navi Dhaliwal, who's last two. Even Ravinder Pal Singh. I'll be very honest.
Ravinder couldn't justify his spot even in 11 just because he's your friend, my friend.
He's a good cricketing brain,
He is.
right? I'm just talking Kanwar Pal Tatkur. He was not even
Again,
right?
ex-Patiala Shahid.
See, all I can say is I always tell this about Kanwar Pal Singh also. I'm going a little, off topic. Guys like Ravinder Pal Singh, Kanwar Pal, all these guys, they have won local tournaments, But yes, on a World Cup stage, coming back to Dilpreet Bajwa now, I would have made him the captain at least 1 or 2 tours before and then see how it does. And then, take it from there and, carry on with him in the World Cup. If, but how he was made the captain and all that, that was totally the board's decision at the time.
All right, Jimmy, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's go to the World Cup. Let's talk about the most questionable game. Saad bin Zafar, an experienced spinner, bowls an amazing wicket maiden. Everyone expects him to bowl the over number 5, but suddenly we see the captain, who's a batter, with the ball in the power play, bowls a no ball as a spinner. Jimmy, look into my eye and tell me, what were your thoughts in the dugout?
When he bowled no ball,
When he came to bowl first.
see, I think Sadi bowled a
Wicket maiden.
wicket maiden.
Mhm.
I think that was the 3rd over. And I don't recall who bowled the 4th over. Yes, I was surprised to see Dilpreet even bowling in the power play, to be honest, right? And the entire World Cup, we didn't see Harsh Thakkar ball. He's a good off spinner. Uh, Dilpreet bowling that particular over, 5th over, was surprising to all of us. See, bowling a no ball, at that time we didn't notice that much. We thought, oh my, he's coming in the power play, he's bowling a no ball first ball.
As a
That time we were thinking these kind of things as a player. Even like I'm a cricketer first, then I'm a club owner, then this marketing operation and all this. But when he opted to bowl the 5th over and he bowled a no ball in the first delivery, we were like, oh man, maybe he should have come after the power play. Maybe it's nerves, maybe it's New Zealand.
Jimmy, let's talk about that documentary. Let's talk about that broadcaster which apparently chased you. When I say you, I mean Cricket Canada. So the broadcaster which chased Cricket Canada, and how do you explain that script? That $37,000 script available to buy before Canada versus New Zealand game. What do you say on that?
When I saw the documentary, then I found out. And even with CBC, I'll tell you, my first interaction with CBC was at the team send-off event hosted by Patrick Brown at City of Brampton. So when I think Ingleton Liebert, our coach and general manager, he introduced me to CBC that they are doing something. Even with CBC, when I communicated for the first time, I was told that it's a feel-good story that the team is going to the World Cup. Even when we met at the airport, that's all I knew. But when I reached even Sri Lanka, when they met us, we had no idea that they are.
What were you expecting? They'll tell you and do it?
No,
They will not tell you to do it.
see, but CBC is covering Canada sports also, right? That's what we were told.
Yes, that's exactly what they want to do. Razi.
Yeah. Them going to rooftops and talking about scripts and all this stuff. This was all a surprise to me. I have no idea.
Exactly. That's an investigative documentary. They won't tell you.
They did their job, right? Like Steven D'Souza, Roxana, they did their job. Like we're not running away from them. But all I'm saying is, as the media manager, I found out very late in the process that this is what they're doing. They're not just about a feel-good story of Canadian cricket, right?
A big company like CBC would not do any allegations without the concrete evidence. And you know it. Otherwise, why doesn't Cricket Canada goes and sue them? Go, sue them.
No, CBC is like our BBC, right? If it was like false allegations, false accusations, we could have. And there's this old adage that says, like, where there is smoke, there is fire. It's out there in public. You know, ESPN, Cricinfo, everybody have covered it now, right? Who am I to tell it's not happened? It's not happened. But all I'm saying is, the CBC documentary maybe was 1 week late. The right people who should be taking these kind of interviews, like I know, like you and I know each other since years now, but the right people are not being questioned right now because they are removed from cricket. The president is gone. Prem Prasad, vice president, is gone. He's been impeached. Nobody's talking about them. Nobody's talking to them. I feel Dilpreet Bajwa took the bullet by himself because he is currently still active and can play more cricket as a squad member. All these guys who did the damage for last 2 years, and even over CBC, I can be open about it. Since last 2-3 years, things have not been perfect in Cricket Canada as an organization, right? There have been certain elements, certain individuals whose priority was not cricket, whose priority was, like bad governance. And when I say bad governance being a priority, doing things their way.
Name them.
I mean, like, it's in front of you, like it's on public records now. Like, the president, Amjad Bajwa, Prem Prasad, the vice president, CEO Salman Khan, how he was appointed as the CEO itself is a, like a questionable thing. He was a board of director one night before, and there was no job posting on social media, on website, and the board collectively appointed him as a salaried CEO. So those guys should be questioned, like, and in the documentary also you must have seen, some man said he's gonna talk to them next week, something like that, and he ducked them, right? So all I can say is, like those guys, and with CBC, coming back to CBC now, there was so much happening in 2-3 years. I would only imagine that CBC could only do some part of it in 45-minute episode. Maybe they needed a web series. Maybe they needed like 5-10 episodes, right? I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
you've given them enough content for a big web series, my friend.
I mean, not me, like
Cricket Canada.
Cricket Canada, right? See, that way you could have told a good story or like a proper story. I feel even the SGA part was not highlighted in a proper way. The whole bomb was blasted on Dilpreet Bajwa.
So are you trying to tell me that everyone was involved and Dilpreet Bajwa was just being the scapegoat?
Yeah, you can say that now. You can absolutely say that, right? 2-3 years of damage cannot be shown properly in a 45-minute episode. They did their best. At the end of the day, they are also going good for raising awareness. Maybe somebody in Sports Canada, maybe somebody in ICC took notice of these things. I mean, ESPN, Cricinfo, everybody all over the world are noticing what's going on in Cricket Canada, right? But to put the blame entirely on one person is not fair. It was a systematical issue that nobody is talking about. It was bad governance that nobody is talking about, you know. And the CBC documentary showed a lot of outside elements also that was going on. Maybe you could have talked to me about all those things that were happening, right? Even those kind of things are distracting from the real problems. The real problems are not outside noise, is not outside interference. Politically, the system was built in a way for last 2 years that coming back to what I just said, cricket was not a priority. Once cricket is not a priority, the sport why all we are here, you and I know because of cricket.
If cricket is not a priority,
Yeah.
how can you be managing cricket?
See, that's the thing. See, those things.
It's such a shame that we cricket fans who worship the game, we love the game so much, but the people governing the game have no respect for the game at all. This is shameful.
It's unfortunate. People like you and I can say, I can blindly talk about you. And maybe, you might also have some kind of, similar thoughts about me also. We both are here for talking about cricket because cricket to us, forget about the commercial aspect and all that. Forget about what's happening in the world cricket and all that. You and I started cricket for the kira of the game, for the love of the game, right? We don't care. For us, like, if for me, if I slog a six on the leg side, I'm done. Good day today, right? If I win a match, better day to day. But as I said, there are other elements who were part of the organization, unfortunately, who did the damage.
Jimmy, you just used a word commercial aspect. Let's talk about the facts. Let's talk numbers. Players at $3,000 a month. And then we have some officials traveling free business class tickets under different capacities and making more money than men actually played in the game. You were there. You saw both sides. How do you defend that?
I can even talk about myself as a media manager also, the commercial part, even for the people who are really working, is not the best. The players is not the best. Players should be given more. I mean, Cricket Canada as a whole is only active because of the players, right? If the players don't do well, we don't have an ODI status. If the players don't qualify for a World Cup, we don't have a World Cup. So the players should be highlighted the best way. We were still at a time that the players had no contracts, but the CEO was getting his salary 150, 175, 200K. I don't know the exact number, but he was making hefty enough money. And he was even, I think, in his contract, he even mentioned that there were um, some kind of commissions or cuts involved, that any kind of franchise cricket he brings to the organization, he will still be compensated on a commission level or something. So just imagine, while one individual is able to do all this stuff, the players, because of whom the organization is active,
Were you paid enough?
I mean,
Or were you just happy with business class tickets and taking pictures with Surya Kumar Yadav?
I have no, I have traveled in business class before. God's grace, my parents, my family,
I meant free.
for free, yes. Not for free. I would say, if I'm talking about my World Cup experience, before even going to the World Cup, uh, there was some times that I thought I won't be going to the World Cup, right? But when I was told that I'm gonna be appointed as a media manager, I'm gonna be taking care of sponsor activation and all these things, I just felt blessed. And if I'm talking just about myself, about the free ticket that you're saying, I felt it was a closure for me, and it was a gift by the God, that I have worked so hard throughout these years for cricket. People sometimes don't know your journey. No, I've started from tennis ball days. From that point of view, where I have come, like, since 5 6 years, what I have been able to contribute to Canadian team on a digital scale, or like, even polishing youngsters, and having my own club, I felt that was a closure moment for me, that I'm going to the World Cup. For that, my business class was taken care by Cricket Canada. I am blessed.
Jimmy, same organization now. Some faces have changed. Do you think something actually changed?
I would still say it's too early to predict, but the positives, I can talk about the positives. I know we want to be neutral. We want to talk about the bad side, the good side, the neutral side, right? If I'm talking about the good side, what I've noticed as a media manager and marketing operations, our agency also works on their website. It was a shocker to me. Since last 2 3 years, I have not seen a job posting on the website. Recently, there was a job application posted, an NSP for National Selectors Panel. So that has been pushed by the current president, the new president, and the secretary and the board, right? Collectively. Those kind of things are, positive, that at least, now they are following a protocol, and now, they want some transparency. Uh, the decision will be made by the board again, right?
Talking about the transparency, has Cricket Canada officially endorsed NCL? Yes or no?
See, right now,
Yes or no?
GT20, you missed the word GT20.
Okay. Yes or no? GT20.
GT20 license is given to NCL by Cricket Canada.
Previous governance, though, which
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the new people. Old faces, very conveniently, you said they're gone.
Yeah.
So
But it's up to Cricket Canada now to decide what kind of media clauses the rights clauses they have.
so that means the deal is not done yet.
I mean, I haven't seen a date yet. I haven't seen a date yet.
Is it happening for sure? Honestly, Jimmy, I've polled you bouncers on a cricket field, but I must say, you are better off facing them on this chair. I'm not convinced at all, but let's move forward. we'll live with it. GB, everything we spoke about today, be it power, politics, self-serving decisions, this culture, it doesn't stop at Cricket Canada level. The culture comes all the way down to the local leagues. Right here, right in Brampton. Apparently, the biggest league in North America drastically raised the expenses for players. And people are saying that although the ground permits have increased, but there are a lot of other add-on expenses which no one wants to talk about. You very well know what I'm referring to. Take me there.
I'm going to briefly touch base about the 160% tariff that you're saying, because commercially I want people to understand why it happened. There were some promises made by Cricket Canada that, we're going to host DD20, Canada Super 60 and a lot of international games in Brampton. Unfortunately, that did not happen. And due to that, when Brampton is not making money, it's going to put something on the leagues, right? I feel that is one of the reasons that BDCL, BCL, all these leagues have been, asked to pay a 160% tariff. But talking about BDCL, if you're talking about the biggest league in North America and all that, right? I think BDCL, there is no RFP, RFQ done on, when I say RFP, RFQ, there is no proposals being taken by, other vendors. There are so many vendors, ball vendors, if I'm talking about balls only, right? And I think that is the biggest thing that the club members want to change, and if we're talking about, BDCL now, like today, the head of the table is still, impeached by the Supreme Court, and there is some reputational damage done. Maybe the corporate sponsor want to question now.
But it's allowed, right? If you're impeached from Cricket Canada, you can still be the president of the board, right?
See, legally there are lots of loopholes in the system. You can be the president, and you can get away with a lot of things. It's one organization. People have, kept one corporation, closed the corporation, still continue to do the business, right?
But I think at one time he had like 4 or 5 positions under him, if I'm not.
Oh, he had multiple positions there in the board. Yeah, he was the president of Cricket Ontario. That his position was gone like end of January. Then he was also the Cricket Canada vice president, which he's recently been impeached, I think on 9th April. BDCL president, he's been there for like 20-30 years.
So 3 decades, yeah.
Almost, right? And then team manager of Cricket Canada and also the City of Brampton representative. If you and I directly go to talk to City of Brampton, somebody from City of Brampton will still point us to go and check with Prem Prasad, right?
He's extra talented. You're jealous.
I don't know what to say the word jealous, but I'm annoyed in a bit that how come, there are so many other professional individuals involved who can take the game to a higher level, who can take the league to a higher level. When I say the league, I'm going to talk about BDCL for a minute.
Yes.
Ball is one thing,
So you're saying balls is the main reason, area where the expenses can come down. How much does a ball? I think they all outsource it. $10 to $15. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think our BDSL ball cost is like somewhere around 45 bucks, $50, right? And you also play the league, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah, but my accountant takes care of it, so I'm not sure. But yes, $45. Okay,
something like that, right? I feel BDCL should take some, proposals and let the members decide. There should be a committee that should be formed who should decide which ball to use.
No, but if it's a quality ball and they're charging $45, what is the problem for it?
It's not a quality ball. There is something that your accountant cannot tell. That is the quality of the ball. You have played with that ball. It's not the best ball. Especially if the matches are starting at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. in the morning with the dew. I mean, the first 6-8 overs, the ball is gone. The pink ball, right? The white ball always not the best. After a few overs, it's not the best. I mean, and nothing against Stagix also,
The brand.
The brand.
Have you ever ordered from them directly?
Never directly. But, I have
taken quotation?
I see at the end of the day, the balls vendors are either from Pakistan or from India.
So speak up.
Nobody in US or nobody in New Zealand is sending us balls, right?
Have you ever taken a quotation from them directly?
No, not from them directly. I think the ball, what I know is from other vendors that I've talked, is 15-20 bucks. How come we are, purchasing a ball that is for
hang on. So you're saying the ball which we get for $45 comes for $15 to $20?
Something like that. It's their business model, right? Again, it's BDCL's decision to go with Stagix. BDCL should have a committee to let the members pick the ball. The majority of the members should be given the opportunity to pick the ball vendor they want.
Jimmy, you're again. It's been an hour almost now. Yes, you've taken a lot of escape the bouncers, but we are beating around the bush. Is the problem with Stijix or is the problem with the board?
BDCL.
Board.
BDCL.
Does the ball cost $45?
No. Nope.
And this is where I need your right answer. Does the board pay $45 for the board?
The members do. The members do. It's unfortunate the members do. But the ball vendor has to be decided by the board. So all I'm saying is, even if we choose Kookaburra, even if we opt for any other vendor, it has to be decided by the board. All I'm saying is the ball has been used for so many years. There should be a proposal sent out by the vendors. A committee should be formed by the club members could decide on which ball they should go and play with. That's my only thing.
No, I mean, absolutely. As a fan, as a cricket lover, I'm hurt. I'm very good. But at the same point of time, I'm so proud of this kid, 19-year-old Yuvraj Samra, who is the national hero in the same bloody very match which is in the news. People don't talk about the kid. I would say he's Canadian version of Bhav Suryavanshi. I'm so proud of him. I've played with him. He is such an exceptional talent, taking the world's best bowlers to the cleaners, 100 in a T20 game. Wow, amazing.
I mean, up until this point, everybody was talking about Yuvraj Samra. Unfortunately, this documentary came out. That's why the New Zealand match, came into limelight for all the wrong reasons, right? But if I'm talking about UV, that's how I call him. He's like my younger brother, right? He joined our club at age 12, 13, back in 2021, 2020, right? Club model changed, marketing and everything, because of Patiala Shai that I got into Cricket Canada, right? Because of what I was able to do for a guy like Yuvraj Samra. But if I'm just talking about Yuvraj Samra, unbelievable talent. He does not have a B plan. When I say B plan, his dad is into business. I don't remember the last time he went to school or college. So his full-time focus is cricket. And that tells you the good side of Canadian cricket. Yes, we are talking about Cricket Canada, we are talking about the BDCL pause, Brampton, this and that. We have the talent here. If the right people can keep the right eyes on the right people, right players, sorry. I mean, we can do wonders. Canadian cricket has been around since before Sri Lanka and Nepal, before Ireland. We have been around. It's just, high time that, we start polishing our players the right way. And even maybe right now we have one Vaibhav Suryavanshi, we have one Yuvraj Samra. Maybe, down the road we'll have 10 Yuvraj Samras in the team. And that time, we will be doing good on the field.
Do you remember any conversation you had with him on that day before the game? Because he didn't do well in the previous games.
That was the first game that out of the 4 games, that was the first game we were playing. I think the only game that we played on afternoon. The match started at 12. His mom did not get VIP passes, tickets. Me and him sitting in the bus were just discussing how to get better passes for his mom. Unfortunately, our team manager got sick, or maybe he could not make up in the morning at 8 a.m. when the bus was supposed to leave. Usually the team passes, the family passes come from the team manager, and he was not there. He could not arrange us the passes. So UV's mom flew all the way from Canada.
Sorry, so team manager did not wake up.
I mean, he was sick. He did not come to that match.
Sorry, was it team manager?
Prem Prasad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
He did not come to that match. So UV's mom came all the way from Caradon. She flew to Delhi to Chennai. She flew and she was supposed to sit in general stands, which she did. The first inning she did.
Wow.
Again, I'm not discriminating anybody. General tickets, I sometimes enjoy watching.
Oh, yeah,
up the stand,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. There's no fun there.
Me and him were like going back and forth for arranging passes for his mom. So that was the frustration. So his mom was in the general stands, and even when he was going into bat, we were batting first in the first innings. His concern was not that he has to face,
Henry
and Jameson and all these guys. His concern was he was sitting, like looking up, where is his mom sitting? Where is his aunt sitting? I think that was the frustration. If you see the first 2-3 shots he played, that was very rash shots. He was able to connect them, and I think when he made 20, 30, I was like, okay, you know what, I think he'll do 50 today. Then, when he scored a 50 and the New Zealand bowlers didn't have an answer for him, I knew because, ਆਪਣੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਲੱਬ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਵੀ that the guy knows ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਜੇ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਟਿਕ ਜੇ ਨਾ ਪਲੇਅਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਊਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ। ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨੇ 50 60 ਕਰਤੇ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਆਈ ਨਿਊ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਇਹ ਖੜਿਆ ਰਿਹਾ 15 16 ਓਵਰ ਤੱਕ 17 ਓਵਰ ਤੱਕ 100 ਤਾਂ ਕਰ ਜੂਗਾ ਇਹ। So I was just sitting there and even when the ICC cameras started like capturing us on the broadcast,
You were bouncing.
I was jumping
I remember.
क्योंकि
I was in Mumbai that time.
क्योंकि out of the entire World Cup, that was the only, if not the biggest positive we had, as a management, as all the players. So very proud of him. I only hope that he goes, in the right direction. He stays motivated.
Not only for you, my friend, every cricket fan in Canada, Yuvraj Sangha was our only saving grace for all of us. I'm sorry, not you, not the management, not Cricket Canada.
That's true.
Anyways, Jimmy, our questions and answers would not finish, and you know that. But thank you so very much for being a part of this podcast today. And I know, viewers, the only reason Jimmy did this today was for the love of the game. I know him for years and I know his passion and, in his words, the kida for the game. If it was not for cricket, no one, an active member of Cricket Canada, would come and face my bouncers. Thank you so much, Jimmy, once again.
But bro, thanks for having me. And again, for the kid of the game, we'll continue doing what we do. And it's a good setup that you are doing this, taking questions, speaking from the heart, speaking from the soul. And I believe I'm going to see you soon at Antony Canvas or Terramoto. We'll find the schedule.
Against each other.
Thanks.
Viewers, this was Jiri Sharma, the man who was inside this world, who saw it up close, who chose to sit here today and say what needed to be said. The facts are out there now. The investigation is ongoing. The ICC hasn't stepped in yet. The new faces are in place at Cricket Canada. But the old question still remain unanswered. You've heard both the sides. I'll let you decide. But remember, the game belonged to us. Not to them, never them. This is Bhav. This is Soul Talk with Bhav, and we are just getting started. Thank you for watching.